US President Donald Trump has cut short his visit to the G7 summit in Canada as the Middle East crisis between Iran and Israel deepens. Speaking before boarding Air Force One, Trump told reporters, "I have to be back early for the obvious reasons." He later posted on Truth Social urging millions to immediately evacuate Tehran and reaffirming Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. His abrupt departure came as Israel and Iran exchanged missile attacks for the fifth consecutive day. Iranian media reported loud explosions and heavy air defense fire in Tehran. Israeli airstrikes also targeted Iran's state broadcaster, forcing live coverage off-air. In response, Iranian missiles hit parts of Israel with air raid sirens ringing out in Tel Aviv after midnight. At least 224 people have been killed in Iran and 24 in Israel, according to the officials. Back in Washington, the White House said Trump would lead a National Security Council meeting on arrival. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced additional US forces are heading to the region to strengthen defensive posture, but stressed that the US would not take part in the Israeli strikes. Despite skipping key meetings with Ukraine and Mexico, Trump called the summit a success. He finalized a trade deal with the UK and discussed upcoming negotiations with Canada. He also reiterated his support for reintroducing Russia to the group, saying, "Putin speaks to me, he doesn't speak to anybody else." However, tensions ran high among G7 leaders. Trump initially planned to reject a joint statement on the Israel-Iran conflict, but late Monday night, G7 released a united call for de-escalation of the hostilities in the Middle East, including a ceasefire in Gaza. The statement also reaffirmed support for Israeli security and called Iran the principal source of regional instability and terror. Leaders made it clear Iran must never have a nuclear weapon. French President Emmanuel Macron backed Trump's early departure, saying if the US can help achieve a ceasefire, that's a good thing. Australia also called the move understandable. Trump's sudden return to Washington reflects just how seriously the US is treating the situation. But as G7 nations call for peace while firmly backing Israel's right to defend itself, is the world truly pushing for de-escalation or choosing sides?